Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection for our servicemen and women throughout the world, and also for those who have passed away in our community. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Here.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Dr. Rothchild? Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mr. King?
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to take from the table resolution number 176 of 2023.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to take from the table resolution number 176 of 2023. This piece of legislation is being taken from the table and placed in seventh order for final vote. It is the liquor license transfer for C and SRP LLC. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved. Please dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Third order, 3A, Controller's Report for the month ending December 31st, 2022. 3B, Budget transfers received the week of January 16th through January 20th from the Business Administration for various departments. 3C, Minutes of the Scranton Firefighters Pension Commission meeting held December 21st, 2022. 3D, Minutes of the Scranton Police Pension Commission meeting held December 21st, 2022. 3E, Minutes of the Non-Uniform Municipal Pension Board meeting held on December 21st, 2022. 3F, Agenda for the Non-Uniform Municipal Pension Board meeting held on January 18th, 2023. 3G, Minutes of the Historic Architectural Review Board meeting held November 21st, 2022. 3H, Minutes of the Ethics Board meeting held November 16th, 2022. 3I, Correspondence received January 13th, 2023 from the Single Tax Office regarding City Scranton School District real estate tax information for the fourth quarter, end of year 2022. 3J, Correspondence received January 20th, 2023 from OECD regarding Code Enforcement Report for City Council.
Are there any comments on any of the third order items?
I just have one. DPW is back on schedule again, and they will picking up garbage trees until Friday Christmas trees until Friday the 27th. That's it.
Okay. If there are no comments on third order, received and filed. Thank you. Now, do any council members have any announcements? I believe
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I wasn't listening.
No. My only announcement is, looks like we have a big storm coming tomorrow, so I would encourage everyone to please be careful. They're out driving tomorrow during the day and walking. It's going to be, I think, somewhat treacherous. That's it. Thank you.
Fourth order, citizens' participation.
Joan Hodawan at Scranton. You all know what time of year it is, right? It's tax time. And for those who would like to pick up copies of Form 1040 and the instructions, it's just a simple trip up the street to the Scranton Public Library. They have the English version right now. They're awaiting the Spanish version. If you need other forms and schedules downloaded, they'll help you do that. And if you try to get the forms out of the local IRS office, good luck. They aren't very helpful. I'd like to compliment Marie Bannicky, I hope I'm saying that properly, for her $200 donation to the Scranton Police Department's K-9 account. I think she's done that on more than one occasion. That's very nice. Do we have any update on the status of the 2021 audit? Chugging along, are we?
We are. I don't believe anything has changed from what we reported last week.
Yeah.
I think we're hoping for mid-February.
Yeah, well, you
That's
know,
correct.
I saw a couple things. I saw on the paper the RFP for the 2022 audit. The bids are due on February 7th, so it looks like we'll be hiring the next auditor before the 2021 audit's done, but that's all right. And then I was also very amused to read the controller's report for December. And in that report, guess what we did? We paid Kohansky $10,000, when in fact, maybe Kohansky should be paying us $10,000. You know, if we missed the September 30th deadline for the audit, we have the option of a 10% fine against that company, and that company's missed the deadline 4 years running, and I don't think we've ever asked for a refund. Well, I guess it's just taxpayer money. And then how about the arbitrations for the firefighter and police union contracts?
Firefighters occurred today, the first
Okay.
arbitration meeting, and my understanding is, I don't know if it's next week or shortly, the second one. The police, I'm not sure when that's scheduled. I know it was scheduled and it was postponed. I'm not sure when that's going to actually take place.
I'm
The police.
hearing that it may be toward the end of January, early February with the police.
Okay, well, they've been without a contract for over a year. However, also in the December controller's report, you may have noticed that Ufberg and Associates, the Labor Council for the city, picked up a check for $32,407.59. So that's where your taxpayer dollars are going. I was surfing the website again for the city's website, not much progress or changes there. I find it very amusing that the home page, the picture is of the clock on the 500 block of Lackawanna Avenue, which has been broken for many a moon. You know, it's kind of symbolic of the website itself. Oh, yes, I see that the Ethics Board is meeting every 2 months. The next one will be, I believe, March 15th. I'm going to go and ask a few questions. I saw in their minutes that they made a change to the ethics code,
God
and they
bless.
want to make sure that it gets archived at City Hall. But I'd like to know whether they're meeting the requirements of the ethics code itself. They're supposed to be posting certain items on the city's website. I don't think that's been done yet. I even wonder if they have copies of the last union contracts, since the union contracts, if there's a conflict between the code and the union contracts went out. So it'd be to their advantage to sit down and read those union contracts. But remember, they're still not all on the website, so you have a good night.
I'll speak to that in fifth order, by the way, the
Okay.
website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Lee Morgan.
Good evening, Council. Lee Morgan. I guess my opening remark could be that on Thursday at 5:30, I will be at ECTV. Hopefully, Council President King and Smurl, Councilman Smurl, and the rest of council will appear there so we can start a dialogue, not with myself, but with the residents. And any comments that I have to make at that time will not be political, and there will be no attacks because I don't attack people. But I think that the residents have a right to facts, information, and an understanding of what their government plans to do. And going forward, as I do these videos on ECTV, there's going to be a lot of issues that are going to come up that I'm going to address. I'm just starting now. I have no intentions to ever run for a public office because I just have no interest in it. But I would like to bring a lot of people forward that I guess understand the city and have a multitude of different opinions other than my own. But I think moving forward, we need to rewrite the charter, and we need to find out who we are as Scrantonians and where we want to go and where we want our city to go. I do have to say that on many instances, I'm troubled by where our city is at soon to be 64 years old. And I think it's important for every resident in this city to understand one thing. We don't live forever, and we've got to pass something on to our children that's worth having. And in order to do that, we have to do something different than what we've done for decades before. And I think part of it is listening and trying to understand where we have to go together as a community. And we cannot continue to tax people out of their homes and lack a vision and direction on where we want the city to go. And in my own opinion, I think we wasted 30 years under Act 47. I'm thankful that the Scranton School Board's directors realized that recovery wasn't a good idea for the Scranton School District because it wasn't taking us somewhere good. And I just hope that we elect a mayor that has a vision, that understands that today's a new day, and that our ancestors have been here for a long time, probably 150 years or more. My family probably has been here, going back to my great-great-grandfather, and probably my relatives were here even before that, because I really don't know where my relatives came from. But we have to find a vision for this city, and the only way we're going to do that is we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. Now, some people will refuse to talk, and some people will stonewall. But in the end, just as it always is true, they will be overcome, because that's what politics does. People become disenfranchised from their electorate, and the electorate casts them out. And I think for too long we've accepted the fact that whatever somebody spewed verbally was where they were taking us, and it hasn't been where we've gone. We've gone all the wrong ways. Look at our neighborhoods. Nothing like when I was a child. The old women were out there with the broom, sweeping the streets, caring about the neighborhoods. And you know, it's not a personal attack. Look at the city. Lift your eyes up and look at the downtown. Look at the neighborhoods. We can't go this way anymore. And not only I have to see it, but the residents have to see it. And the people in Harrisburg have to see it. And we need a common goal to create employment centers in this city and give the children that are born here, that go to school here, opportunity to find employment and advancement here. And politics isn't going to do that. Leadership is. And the ability to work together and see other people's ideas and visions other than just your own. Because the multitude has to be heard somewhere. And if we close them out forever and ignore them, they'll never be heard and will never change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Bob Bullis.
Evening, Council. Bob Wallace, Scranton. I'd like to do just a little housekeeping before I get on to some of the issues. As you all know, last week I asked Jessica, who I have no problem calling her a doctor if she properly identifies herself as a physical therapist, how to respect the friends and physicians that attend to my needs, your needs, and everybody else. I think we need to honor them in their profession, and in her profession, most MDs, especially orthopedics, send you to physical therapy after you've had surgery and all. It's an admirable profession to be in, and I respect her for that. I just want her to identify to everybody watching here that she's a physical therapy and be damn proud to be one. And that happens and she puts it behind her name, I have no problem calling her doctor. She's entitled to what she earned it. But out of respect to the profession, she needs to respect them as well. And the solicitor had made a comment, I didn't really hear it when I walked out last week, that she has a right to call herself doctor. I don't think at any point in my dialogue last week or what I presented here, I said anything negative about calling her a doctor. I even addressed that I had no problem calling her a doctor, would respect, if she respected the profession and respected us, and just put behind her name, I was willing to pay for the nameplate. I'm not here to insult, I'm not here to do it, but what's right is right. And out of respect for the medical profession, you wouldn't go somewhere where somebody said just doctor and had no idea what kind of doctor they were on the door. You would go to your orthopedics, you go to your orthodontist, you know, you move on and you get things done. And that's what I wanted to say tonight. I didn't come here to challenge or argue. I'm just asking to be respectful. We're the employers of everybody here, and we have a say in what goes on. And that's all I asked her to do. The next part is that the mayor wants to bring a train here. Well, what are you gonna do? Bring a train here and go up to Niagara and run around the splash park? We don't have what we need to worry about a train here. I offered to buy the mall and put a mini casino in it. I couldn't get city council or the commissioners to endorse a letter that we could give the game commission before they changed the boundaries to put a mini casino in there, which we had every intent to do. That would have brought life to Scranton. Real life, real money, and everybody would have flourished. But bringing a train here, for what reason, to spend millions of dollars is a joke. The other part, why don't we pave Lackawanna Avenue and finish it? It's the gateway to the city, and it looks like hell. We should be doing that. We should be doing the things on West Mountain. You should take that property up there by eminent domain and put windmills up there that would generate power for the power company, but give free electricity to the residents and businesses in this city. That's moving the city forward. That's giving us growth. That's giving us opportunities. The guy wants to put his stuff up there for solar panels. Doesn't do us any damn good. We should be putting the stuff that benefits this city. I brought up when I was running for mayor here a long time ago to put windmills up there and give the residents in the city what they're doing. Not tax the hell out of them. Give them some for being here. And you'll bring growth, you'll bring industry. That's what growth is all about. I travel all over the world, and I know what I'm talking about, how to develop and build something. I don't play politics. I look at our growth for our children and their future. I'm offended by teachers in schools that are trying to impose on these kids their gender. We got to stand up and make a stand on it. Any teacher that would do that to a kid has to be expelled from the school. Kids have a right to grow up on their own right, and it's our responsibility to take care of our children and not sit here and let these people get away with what the hell they're doing. I'm not here about sexual orientation. Leave it in your bedroom, but don't take it out on the kids. And that's our responsibility, to take care of our future. Those are the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bolles. Ron Ellman.
Good evening, Council. You can relax because I'm not going to attack the city tonight. I guess I'll tone it down and be more like Mr. Bolus. I was speaking to a friend of mine on the phone last week. He's a retired college professor, so we could take it he's a very educated man, and we were talking about, he saw last week's, meeting. He mentioned something of merit as far as I'm concerned. He's concerned about so many no English-speaking immigrant children. His theory is that they have no underlying education to start with, and putting them in 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, or whatever, with no education to start with, is such a hindrance that's what the teachers are complaining about. That seems to be the problem. And he said if he had anything to do with the school board, he'd urge them to have like a one-room school and start everybody at a kindergarten or 1st grade level and make you work your way up. That seemed very good idea to me to investigate anyway. These children, most of them at home, nobody speaks English. They hang around with people their age that don't speak English. They got a lot against them when it comes down to it. Then I find it infuriating to see Hyundai and other companies have Spanish-speaking commercials. This is America. These people are supposed to assimilate. Believe it or not, I want them to do so. Helping them to keep, I was at the bank today to get some money. You have to poke English. Everything on the phone, you got to poke. That's terrible. Our culture's gone down the drain because of a bunch of weaklings in government. Well, now that I got that on, real quick, my son used to watch on his computer a vehicle called Navigator Breakdown. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it. Navigator Breakdown. It's an expose, I guess, of all these bleeding heart commercials you see every 15 minutes want you to give them 16 cents a day or whatever, 60 cents. It has a breakdown what goes to run this society and what actually gets to the subject matter. It's unbelievable. If you get out, they have taken bleeding heart Americans and just sucked them dry for big salaries. I used to give one of those army things, and they showed some guy sitting in a bathtub in Vegas with a martini or something. I never gave him. I gave $30 to the Boy Scouts to go to this camp. You know what happened with the Boy Scouts. This Navigator Breakdown it would change the way Americans are being taken for granted. And real quick, I'm going to give a freebie for Moscow's. A lady asked me where I got my pants. They got a lining. They're Wranglers from Moscow's, and they are the best things in the world. They are just as warm and nice, and they cost about $20. And I've been mad at Moscow's since they filed bankruptcy on us years ago, but that's a real bargain if you ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellman. That exhausts the sign-in sheet. Are there Anyone else would like to address council?
Tom Coyne, Manuka. First of all, I believe that almost a year has passed, if not more, since council removed the sound ordinances from the Liquor Control Board to the Scranton Police Department to enforce, even though the Scranton Police Department lacked a decibel meter. Is there an update and data on the first trial year of Scranton's enforcement of sound violations for bars? And are we going to return back the enforcement to the Liquor Control Board? Are we going to put forward for another year of the Scranton Police dealing with sound ordinances for bars? I understand Geisinger made a $23 million purchase. All well and good, but I'm more concerned with the hospital mergers. When you now have all hospitals under one roof, plain and simple, it's a monopoly. How can you have choice in health care when there is one health care? Has our city's health care employee evaluated the impact of a one hospital network for the residents of this city? I understand we'll be having a public meeting on 126 on the new zoning. It is to be reintroduced on 131. It was my understanding that changes from the Planning Commission have to go to the county first, and then once approved would come back to the city. If I'm in error for that, please let me know. As far as I know that as of today, though, we have an agenda out front that says we're going to have a meeting in 2 days. The next meeting listed on the city's website was for January 26th with the agenda of to be announced. City Planning Commission is still listed as their meetings are live streamed on ECTV. And the last available meeting on ECTV was April 14th, 2021. Are there meeting agendas and minutes for this body anywhere to be found? Next, how is it when we need people for an unpaid position on boards? The city has a multitude of eligible residents who can fill unpaid slots. But when there's a paid position, the citizens of Scranton are suddenly stupid and substandard. And to protect the city from the population, we must hire outside the city and give waiver grants. I don't understand how when it's a free thing, a free job, city residents are fine, but it's when it's paid, sorry, we don't have competent people here. We're now heading, I pass this forward to the council president. It is a security assessment report. We're now heading at this point into $340,000 Scranton could have saved if they had listened to my advice in the end of 2019. Being proactive in strengthening IT controls and audits. It has been said the issues related to ransomware in Scranton was fixed. Has Scranton hired and received reports from any third-party system organization control groups? There are specific groups that are hired to do penetration testing, to audit systems, and to make sure they're secure. We've already been hit once. And once these are done, corrections are put forward and a report is put forward to the public. These are from major companies that actually do this as their job. Has Scranton ever had a third party do an audit of our system? Or are we just letting it up to the IT department and those in charge to say, everything's fine now? That cost us $175,000 on the insurance per year as an increased cost. And last, on the parks, it does say in the revenue, that it goes to impacted or disproportionately impacted communities. But for governmental services, it says that is not the only guideline. There is discretion in there, and since pool services, exercise, and obesity and weight loss were major factors in COVID-19, under the federal guidelines in the April 21st ruling, they were specifically added in as items that could be used for that because of the negative impacts of health care, of bad health is on the participants, and that's what the funding was for. I'll retouch that next week. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Coyne. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard?
Good evening, council members. My name is Gary Stubbs. I reside on the 1500 of Pine Street. Thank you for your time this evening. I rise in strong support for permit parking on the 1500 block of Pine. I've lived in the block for approximately 4 years now. I was born in Scranton, lived in the area, a few other areas in Scranton. Live on this block now for 4 years. First couple years, it wasn't so bad. Things got congested. Houses got filled up, people not on the block that are parking there that do not reside there. Basically, tensions flared. Okay, I saw this more and more and more. Police were called several times. There was an act of vandalism. I decided, and by the way, we have some of this on camera, if we go back and research the dates and everything that we took record of. And I realized that, you know what, from my vision, Scranton is a small, quiet city. I want to keep it that way. Okay, we're not the type of city that has big problems that big cities have. I care about the city, and I want to play my part to maintain a certain degree of peace and quiet. I want to go to work and come home and just spend time with my wife, not listen to fighting in the streets over petty nonsense. But the police have been called several times. My understanding is that, so I believe the question has been posed a few weeks ago, does this set a precedent? And my understanding is that normally there's a business on the block when there's an inspection to determine whether or not it fits criteria. There's no business on the block, but it was determined that this fits criteria. And from my vantage point, it doesn't surprise me. I've seen petty little conflicts. I'm not interested in it. I don't have the time for this. Okay, I want to focus on what really matters and not be bothered by this. And you know what? Out of respect for the Scranton Police Department, I don't think they need to be bothered with this. I'm not a police officer. I don't know what goes on with crime and so on. However, my guess is there's bigger issues to focus on than petty fights over parking. And when I see this tension building and building and building, it's like I see a fuse burning. And I want to play my part to step it out before there's a big problem and not wait for a big problem and now how do we pick up the pieces. I try to play my part parking sometimes when there's parking available. I will go a block away. Let me save space for other residents so that I'm not contributing to that tension. I want peace and quiet on the block. And this is nonsense. And like I said, I don't think, I believe there's a certain degree of childishness to it, and the police, out of respect for the police, they don't need to be bothered by this. They could focus on bigger issues. And that's why I support it. Back in, I believe, March, I went around the block. 12 households out of the 16 supported the proposition. 2 opposed and 2 no answer is the latest numbers I have. 75% sounds like a pretty high percent. Again, let's keep things small, quiet. Let's be proactive. Let's solve this problem before it becomes a bigger problem. And basically, within that last 10 months, there's been a few conflicts. Now, granted, you might say, you know, Gary, it's verbal arguments. You know, we live in a day and age where people get very easily, quote unquote, whatever the word is, angered, enraged. I don't want to hear it on my block. I want peace and quiet. That's usually what I've experienced in Scranton. I'm very thankful for that. It's one of the things I like about Scranton, is that it's not New York City. It's not, you know, big, quiet, angry, etc. Okay, it's calm, peaceful. I want to keep it that way, at the very least on my block. And I honestly, maybe this is sounds like an extreme thing to say, but I don't think this is really about the block. I think this is about the community at large. And frankly, I would go so far as to say that it has an impact on the entire city. Why? Because again, I come back to that point that I would imagine there's more important things to worry about than childish fighting over parking on our little block in the Hill section. Let the police focus on bigger issues that are more important, and the way to do that is permanent parking. Why? Because, again, clear out the people that are not supposed to be parked there, that park there on a regular basis. There's ample room for everybody. Nobody's frustrated, peace and quiet. We focus on bigger issues. So I just wanted to present my side of the story because I know that a few voices have been presented, on the other side of this debate, so to speak. I believe I'm speaking the silent majority. I believe the loudest voice is not always the most voice, right? The majority. I'm voicing the opinion of the way a lot of people on the block feel. And see, I'm running short on time. I could go on, but basically that's the gist of why I believe this is the correct thing to do, and I thank everyone for giving me the time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stubbs.
Now, Mr. Stubbs, hang on one second. I don't know if you realize there was a hearing today for this specific issue at 5:45. The fights that you spoke of, are they between residents or they're between residents and non-residents?
The people on the block. Yeah.
So they are between residents?
Yeah. We have some of those conflicts on camera.
Okay, so it's not people that are visiting homes, anything like that, that are parking in spots, it's other residents of the block?
There are people that visit. The conflicts that I've seen have been people that live on the block.
That live on the block?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard?
Marie Schumacher, resident of the city and taxpayer. I was disappointed when I read that only 85% of the property owners paid their entire property tax last year. It seems to me it used to be in the lower, at least lower 90s. Does anybody, maybe Mr. Schuster, do you have what it's been for the last, say, 3 to 5 years?
So what the previous paid in full percentages were? I don't have that offhand. I could look into it, though.
Okay, I would like to hear that. Of course, I could have to do a right to know if you don't want me to do it. I mean, and now what do we know about the policy on demolition in the city that we didn't know last week? Nothing? Do we know when that mostly empty apartment building? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, and where the transparency is, how many? Do we? Was it in third order? I missed it then.
We just received it today, so we'll put it in third, or have it put in third order.
He actually came in at 10
Yeah, it's the
o'clock.
total list of properties that are to be demolished, and then the second piece is the criteria for that.
And does it have the priority of which one is?
I don't know if the list is listed in priority, but I do know that there's the criteria is clearly, I was interested to read more about it. We just got it, but you'll get it too in third order next week.
Okay, well, can you just look at it quickly and see when the date is for that apartment building on Harrison Avenue, right after Duffy, when you're coming from Music Street to
I don't know if I could, it's a pretty big
Mulberry?
list. Well, we can get it to you.
Oh.
It's a pretty big list. It's a large list.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to waste your 5 minutes.
Yeah,
here.
okay. And how about an update on, what's the status of the land bank? Who on this building, or on the committee goes? Do we have any statistics on how many, have we put any more properties into the land bank? How many has the land bank sold in for us in the city of Scranton?
We'll have to look into that.
Okay, and I read in the paper this last week about the committee that you and the Scranton School District are going to have on hiring I guess, diversity for another, I could not understand, are all of you, each of you are going to be on this committee? No?
I am on the committee. I don't know how the setup of the committee goes. Me and
Will the
Dr.
meetings,
Rothchild.
will the meetings be in public?
The meetings are via Zoom. There was one Monday. Previous meetings are scheduled while I'm at
Oh, I
work, so I
missed-
haven't had an opportunity to attend. I think there
Oh, I
was 2 to
missed
3
that.
prior to that.
Oh, darn, I missed it. And then, I know it's only a couple of days out of the year, but somebody needs to talk to the University of Scranton. I came up Mulberry Street today, and of course, this must be the day the students are coming back from their month off, and the entire lane going up toward Harrison Avenue from Jefferson was just a parking lot with lights flashing because they were going to be there for a while because they were bringing their students back, which meant if you were coming up the hill, you had to go into the opposing lane that you're not supposed to be in. And I'm sure the University of Scranton could do something better when the students come back to get those cars and then can you find out how many pedestrians have been ticketed in the year 2022? I mean, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schumacher. Mr. Voldenberg, can you send something down to the Scranton Police Department to check on those statistics concerning pedestrians?
I will, Mr. King.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. David Dobson, resident. Once again, it's been mentioned many times. I think there was 3 deaths that I remember at the corner of Wyoming and Lackawanna, and someone who was hit there a couple of days ago. The sun gets in your eyes. I've driven there, and all of a sudden there's a person in front of your car when you make the turn. So what I thought of was a sun shield up there on the top of the mall. At certain times of the year, the angle of the sun hits your windshield, and all of a sudden you make the turn, and a person's standing there like they came out of nowhere. Okay. 6A. I had a little idea sitting down there. Before we adopt any further heavy-handed quality of life, I think somebody should be given a warning. You know, with OSHA, if they're called in, they give a warning. They stop at the plant and they stop citating people in the 80s outright, even though they may have been damn well aware that they're in violation of safety codes, occupational safety codes. So before there's a fine and a lot of consternation, if it's a first-time deal, somebody should stop by and say, hey, it's time to get rid of that car or something. And if they're back in a couple of days and the car's not gotten rid of or no explanation is offered, then the fine would be appropriate. Once again, I'm on the taxes here. And I put a little jot down. I always felt that pilots were a good way that they can laugh at us when we walk out the door. Not necessarily the people that would be paying the pilots, but they're voluntary. And I feel the bigwigs in Harrisburg and the powers that be, they just offer this as a solution, and it's not really a solution, because you have no right to demand money out of anybody that's tax exempt. And it don't matter who they are. Could be General Dynamics, they're tax-free. And it could be a museum, they're tax-free. A hospital, they're tax-free. A college or university, they're tax-free. So at any point, they're just almost laughable. Whenever I hear somebody, some financial advisor come in like Mr. Amoroso or Mr. Cross, and he talks about pilots, it's just like, shut up already, forget about it. We got told there was 2 council people went to Scranton University and asked for an increase in pilots, and they got treated like they were trying to fill their trunk up with cash or something. You know, it was really disgusting. I was very mad at the university at that time. And once again, I'm going to get on the dump up there. I would hope that if they're watching or come across that the people that were involved against the expansion would not would get involved again over this reverse osmosis and discharging dump water into the gorge. I mean, it's our regulatory commissions. I just have to give them like a D or a D+, including the PUC. I just got my electric bill, and as of the first of the year, it's up like 30%. You know, nothing like wiping out a raise and then some. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Dobson. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard by council?
Fifth order, 5A motions.
Mr. Smurl, do you have any motions or comments?
I have one comment. Naog Park Community Room, the meeting room in the back, is ready for its heating system to be installed. It was purchased, all the material and equipment was purchased by the Recreation Authority. They bought all of that stuff. The city of Scranton, I went down and filed for a permit for that. They don't charge for the permits because it's a city property. Myself and other volunteers will be up there installing the heating system. I know I said when I did the interview here that I would not work for the city. This is not working for the city. This is 100% free. There is no money exchanged at all. This is just to install it for the park. I made this commitment last year, and I'm going to live up to it. That is all.
Thank you. Mr. Schuster?
Two issues tonight. Council did receive a phone call yesterday about 1102, 1104 Dartmouth Street. The resident had a lot of different complaints about that. I put it into the police department and also Eileen Cipriani at Code Enforcement Lips. We did get a response back, and they're working on it. So thanks, Frank, with any help with that. Another one, I brought it up in caucus tonight, and it is January. I guess we're in the middle of winter. We have a storm coming tomorrow. But to be proactive, I had mentioned about getting an update on the pools for the spring into the summer. So after the meeting tonight, I'll send out an email, and I'll add you on that, Frank, to get communication started with Parks and Rec about what the pools look like for the summer, if anything needs to be done, or what the update is as we move into the warmer weather. So might be a little off tonight with the storm coming, but we should be proactive. But that's
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Mr. McAndrew?
I have a couple things, excuse me. I'm going to report out on questions that I posed over the past couple weeks. But before that, Mr. Schumacher asked for the demo list. I know we're going to put it in third order next week. I know you're concerned about one property. Mr. Voldenberg, does Mr. Voldenberg have your email? I'm sure he does at this point.
I do.
So would you just please email her the list and then the criteria I made mention of? So you'll get it before next week in third order, okay? You good with that? Good. All right, so the past couple of weeks, I asked about the status of the pocket park. So we received an email, I'm happy to report out, that the initial RFP process or responses were in excess of the grant award. So this is from Leslie Collins of Scranton tomorrow. So our team went back to the drawing board and the project was rebid. We do have both a general contractor and a landscaper which meet the criteria. Scranton tomorrow is also working with PAD-CED regarding the contract expiration, which was June 22nd, a very tight timeline. We are pleased to notify you that the state has officially extended the grant deadline. With that said, we have all intent on the park construction beginning in early spring, starting with the clean fill, the land prep, and being completed in a timely fashion. Also, the finalized contract with PAD-CED has been received, and we're now able to formally enter into the contracts with both the landscaper and general contractor for letters will be forthcoming to all respondents. So we'll keep our eye on that and make sure we follow the timeline. All right, and then next, the Western Field pool issues with lifeguards we've been talking about since before the holidays. We asked last week to have the director provide us with an update. We know that they were looking for them before the holiday. They were interviewing. So what we received from Director Duffy is, unfortunately, our recent lifeguard applications did not pan out. One did not have a lifeguard cert, and one was not interested in obtaining one. And the other never responded or came in when scheduled. So we have a monthly schedule posted with the guard on each day, whether in the morning or evening hours. We do appreciate fewer morning swim sessions. No, I'm sorry, anticipate fewer morning swim sessions, February due to the availability of morning guards. Our evening guards are made up of students who are available afternoons and evenings rather than mornings. We have more adult guards signed up for our March certification to help with the morning session, so we're glad to hear that. We have someone working on marketing materials to be posted on our platforms and shared throughout our outreach channels. This will have all the information needed to apply and register for a course. They're offering 3 certification courses in March, April, and May, which is great. This is to recruit and hopefully retain. We have applicants in each session so far. We'll share this information publicly once marketing materials are completed. Additionally, we'll host a recertification for our current guards who need the refresher course to renew their certifications. We have 20 current lifeguards, mostly high school, college students, and 2 adult seniors. They usually work the morning sessions. So I know that the residents and the customers of Western Field, the pool, watch these meetings, so I hope this is information that you're pleased with, and we'll keep you updated. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. I have a few items, a follow-up from Doris Kolowski. Steve Tiemann from the DPW supervisor reviewed the corner of Olive Street and Colfax Avenue on January 19th for handicap curb completion, and he will be advising council soon as to how to get that resolved. Mr. Schumacher, there were 2 items, and one Mr. McAndrew addressed about the demo list, and the other was Seymour Avenue drainage issue is under review by DPW at this time. Okay. Mr. Ellman, City Code Enforcement is going to investigate 57 East Parker Street for a report of use as an illegal boarding house. So they're going to be looking into that, as you had reported to the council. I'm also told that ECTV will be live streaming upcoming Planning Commission meetings, so we can look for that. Also, I met with the mayor today through Zoom, and Jack Rieger, who's the head of IT for the city, I expressed the concerns, of the citizens and myself as a councilman about trying to update the website as quickly as possible, and you had indicated that that's a priority, and they're hoping to be able to do that within like a 48-hour period. The one thing like DPW contract that was mentioned by Mrs. Hodawan, it's my understanding, and I'm familiar with this in having done contracts in the past when I was the superintendent at two former school districts, Scranton and Lakeland. Once contracts are settled, there's a process that happens after that where language is typed up and then it's kind of passed back and forth to check and double check to make sure that all of the language is exactly what was legally bargained. And I believe that the contract is with DPW right now for them to finalize for a final review. Once that's finalized, it will be posted up on the website. Mr. Rieger indicated to me. I also asked Mr. Rieger, I know that they only have 3 people that work, in the IT department, but and there's a multitude of activities and jobs that they're responsible for, and he realizes the importance of keeping that website updated. But I also asked him to try to provide me with the list of some of the key initiatives that they're working on in the IT department so that we as the citizens and council can be completely aware as to what's going on in that department. So he said that he would get me some information on some of the things that they're working on in IT. Also, I know that Mr. Ellman mentioned about students of English language learners, having been the former superintendent in Scranton. I know that we have a large percentage of students that come from all over the world, quite frankly, and I think that our teachers do an outstanding job at educating students who come from everywhere from Nepal to Venezuela, from Haiti. We have students that come from Russia, all over the world. You name it, there's like 37, probably 37 to 40 different languages spoken in the Scranton School District. I also know that the younger we can get those students, the quicker the time frame is for students to assimilate and learn the language. And Mr. Ellman is right that a majority of these students, English is not spoken in their home, which is why it's important for them to be fully immersed in a classroom with English-speaking students. And we have English language learning, or ESL teachers, that work with these students in the classrooms. My wife probably has 7 or 8 different languages spoken in her kindergarten class of 25 or 26. But I will tell you, those kids learn, and they learn the language, and they end up being quite successful, I'll say. I remember I had a student at South Scranton Intermediate School when I was the principal down there, and we had a student come in from Venezuela, did not speak one word of English. She is now a general manager of Citizens Bank locally here. So I welcome students, I welcome citizens from all over the world in this city. I want them to feel welcome here. They belong here. They add to the diversity of our city. And I believe that our school district does an excellent job at working with these students and families. I will tell you this, that my wife and other teachers in the city, they have websites that they use to call or to translate for the parents so they can help their own children with homework and things like that, and to really, when letters have to go home, to help interpret the letters into various languages so the parents can fully understand, because I don't care, parents care and love their kids no matter what country they're from. And as long as they're in the city of Scranton, they're welcome to be here, and we want them to be here, and we want them to absolutely assimilate and learn the language and be successful. And I think when given the opportunity through our educational system, they can do that. Thank you.
B, for introduction, an ordinance levying local service tax for year 2023 at $156.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion that item 5B be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved.
5C for introduction, a resolution, appointment of Dimitri Bartels Bray, 129 North Washington Avenue, apartment 705, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 18503, as a member of the Shade Tree Commission. Dimitri Bartels Bray will be replacing David Wenzel, who retired. Dimitri Bartels Bray's term is effective upon execution of the resolution and will fill vacancy of the unexpired term that is set to expire October 29th, 2023.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion that item 5C be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second?
On the question, the mayor indicated to me today that on Friday, I think it's going to be in the governor's room, they're going to honor David Wenzel for his many, many years serving on the Shade Tree Commission. So I thought that was nice, as also the former mayor of the city of Scranton. So that's all I have. All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
5D for introduction, a resolution accepting a donation in the amount of $200 to the Scranton Police Department to be placed in the Scranton Police Department's K-9 account as noted.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion that item 5D be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second?
On the question,
On the question, this is a yearly donation, which is wonderful, and it's very nice of this Wernicke family.
I agree. We obviously appreciate the generosity of the many citizens in the city that donate to various causes, whether it be our fire department or police department. So I agree. We appreciate that. All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
5E for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Barry Isid and Associates, Inc. to provide professional engineering, design, and construction management services for the Naog Park All-Inclusive Playground Project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5D be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second?
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
Sixth order, 6A, reading by title, file the council number 48, 2023, an ordinance, amending file the council number 105, 2021, an ordinance, amending file the council number 72, 2019, an ordinance, amending file the council number 64 of 2014, entitled, an ordinance adopting the quality of life and violations ticket process in the city of Scranton as amended to amend violations in Section 2, enforcement in Section 4, fines and penalties in Section 5, fines and penalties in Section 6, and citation fines in Section 7, amending Section 3 and Section 4 violation numbers to coordinate with the notice of violation that is given out by code enforcement.
You've heard reading by title of item 6A. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6A pass reading by title.
Second?
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
6B, reading by title, file the council number 49, 2023, an ordinance extending the discount period for real estate taxes and refuse fees.
You've heard reading by title of item 6B. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6B pass reading by title.
Second?
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
Seventh order, 7A, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, file the council number 47, 2023, establishing compensation to be paid to the position of controller beginning in 2024.
What is the recommendation of the chairman for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7A.
Second?
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild? Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7A legally and lawfully adopted.
7B for consideration by the Committee on Public Safety for adoption, Resolution Number 185, 2023, accepting a donation presented to the City of Scranton Fire Department from Greg L. Sunday and Joan M. Sunday in the amount of $5,000 in memory of Scranton firefighter Stephen Sunday to purchase equipment.
What is the recommendation of the chairman for the Committee on Public Safety?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety, I recommend final passage of item 7B.
Second.
On the question, once again, I would like to thank the generosity of the Sunday family. This is at least the second, maybe the third donation they've made. It's the fourth donation they've made at $5,000 in memory of their son, Stephen Sunday, who fortunately passed away during COVID. Stephen was an outstanding young man. He was a great baseball player and a firefighter in the Scranton Fire Department. So I want to thank the Sunday family, and we always keep Stephen in our memory. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7B legally and lawfully adopted.
7C for consideration by the Committee on Rules for adoption, Resolution Number 186, 2023, reappointment of William Lesniak, 314 Piston Avenue, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 18505, as a member of the Historical Architectural Review Board. William Lesniak's term on the Historical Architecture Review Board expired on October 11th, 2022, and was held over. His new 5-year term is effective upon execution of the resolution and is set to expire on October 11th, 2027.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7C.
Second.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7C legally and lawfully adopted.
7D for consideration by the Committee on Public Safety for adoption, Resolution Number 187, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials for the City of Scranton to execute and enter into a contract with Frontline Mobile Health to provide National Fire Protection Association 1582 medical exam services for the Scranton Fire Department.
What is the recommendation of chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety, I recommend final passage of item 7D.
Second.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7D legally and lawfully adopted.
7E for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, Resolution Number 188, 2023, amending Resolution Number 46, 2022, entitled Amending Number 175, 2021, authorizing, empowering, and directing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to appoint liaisons between the City of Scranton and Berkheimer, the duly appointed collector of earned income tax for the Lackawanna County Tax Collection District, for the express purpose of sharing confidential tax information with the district for official purposes, to update City of Scranton representatives authorized to receive confidential tax information, to remove proper names and allow for the City of Scranton treasurer to be authorized to receive confidential tax information.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7E.
Second.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7E legally and lawfully adopted.
7F for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, Resolution Number 189, 2023, ratifying and approving the execution and submission of the grant application by the City of Scranton to the Department of Community and Economic Development for the COVID-19 ARPA Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Grant submitted prior to the deadline of December 17, 2022, in the amount of $424,488 to be used towards various stormwater projects.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7F.
Second?
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7F legally and lawfully adopted.
7G for consideration by the Committee on Rules for Adoption, Resolution Number 190, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Herbert Roll and Agrubik, Inc. to perform Regional Stormwater Authority implementation consulting services.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7G.
Second?
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7G legally and lawfully adopted.
7H, previously tabled. For consideration by the Committee on Rules for Adoption, Resolution Number 176, 2023, approving the intermunicipal transfer of a restaurant liquor license, R4235, currently owned by RMCJ Inc., and located at 1233 Springbrook Avenue, Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania 18507, to C and SRP LLC, located at 2217 Boulevard Avenue, Scranton, Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania 18509, as required by the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7H.
Second?
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. I hereby declare item 7H legally and lawfully adopted.
8th order, 8A, Resolution Number 176, 2023.
This resolution was taken from the table and moved to 7th order for the final vote this evening.
8B, file the council number 46, 2023.
This piece of legislation is for the permit parking on the 1500 block of Pine Street. It has been tabled until a public hearing was held this evening. It will be placed on 7th order on next week's agenda for final vote. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.